Hi, and welcome to what we called again? No, that was
Is this real? Oh, sorry, I thought you.
That was real. I was trying to inject some humour into it. It's
Three Legs, Four Wheels podcast.
Paul,
Sean,
Dan,
Chris? No, Dan's not here.
oh Lee.
I think we're suffering
Dave?
from
a cat.
Who's Dave?
anyone got a cat called Dave? I think we're suffering from what boxers call ring rust.
It's not ring rust. Yeah, that's much dirtier.
I was going to say, where have you been buying your curries from? Happy New Year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Depends what calendar you're on, I suppose.
Happy Chinese New Year.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, that's fine. That was only Tuesday last week. That's okay.
Yeah.
How have we all been in this last 2 months with nothing happening, and nothing happened in F1 in December at all?
Fine.
Yeah, I think fine is an apt assessment.
Well, we've been settling into the new Three Legs Towers,
Yes.
and I've been settling into the new job.
Good.
Yeah, that's about it. Been doing normal
I'm
things.
still really tired. I blame winter and the fact that I haven't left my home for nearly 3 years.
Yeah, I know. Definitely have the winter tired's as well, I must admit.
It's getting to the point now, though, where you can actually get up and it's daylight, but it usually means you've slept in a bit.
Not for me.
No, me neither.
It's very much dark when I get up.
It's dark when you get up in the middle of summer, usually.
No, in the middle of summer it's usually light.
Yeah, I still won't fancy getting up at 5.
Welcome to Three Legs, Four Curtains.
Hey, blinds in this house. We're a blind house now. We had enough of the fallout about the curtains with the previous mad landlady.
They were
No,
controversial
don't talk about
curtains.
Can we not talk about curtains and blinds? Please.
You don't want to bring
And
your
that's
work
5
home with
points
you.
for your specialist subject.
Now, it's sad to say there'll be no more stories about the mad landlady because we don't have to deal with it, even though she's stolen our parking space
And our ladders.
and our ladders. Not happy about that.
Oh, let them have them. It doesn't matter, does it? When was the last time you went
It's
up
a
the ladders?
worthwhile sacrifice to not have to deal with her Craig.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, talking of Cray, shall we talk about the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix? No,
No.
I'm sure we did this already.
it's been that long. I can't remember. F1 news to come out over the winter. Lewis Hamilton has reappeared.
Right. He was contracted to anyway, so he was going to turn up at some point.
I mean, we've taken a similar length break, so I don't think we can be too sassy about this.
We weren't hibernating under the Grand Canyon though, which is what it looked like from his photo. For anyone that saw that tweet,
We could have been. You never know.
I mean, we have got a gigantic cliff in the back garden.
I mean, he might have bought it. The Grand Canyon, I mean.
Not the gigantic cliff in our back garden. That'd be one hell of a tax dodge.
Yeah. Hamilton Canyon.
So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of speculation. God knows where it came from about Lewis not coming back. Didn't even mention the word retiring, just not coming back. And it's like, well, where's he gone? Apart
I
from
thought there was a
away.
chance. I thought there was a small chance he might decide not to come back to Formula One.
I think he just needed some time away. He had his time away, and now he's back.
So therefore, we are just following his lead, and we're back exactly the same as we were last year, just like the 2022 Haas.
Yes.
I think that's unfair. When you look at them next to each other, even the colour scheme's different. Same palette.
So
The livery is very similar.
So
but
last
the car is very different.
So last year they went for the Russian flag. This year they've gone for the flag of Russia. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but no, we give Red Bull a pass, don't we? And they come out with the same car every year and have done since David
No,
Coulthard
don't give them
drove
a
it.
pass.
We
don't give
still
them a pass. It's boring
we
as
don't
fuck.
bring it up.
We do, though, because we always like it when they drop this random testing livery. It's like, oh, wow, Red Bull are going crazy here. Look at that. And then they do put on the boring old, here's the corporate colours. And we're like, the fuck,
Yeah,
guys?
the testing livery the testing livery is cool.
Yeah. Oh, look, they've done matte paint this year, which, it was revolutionary when they did it the first time 3 years ago, and then every year since. It's just
3?
been... Wasn't it 3 years ago with the
I
matte?
think it was
matte
more
paint?
than that, I think.
Was it longer
About
than 3?
6 years ago.
You see, this is how similar Red Bull liveries are, and we do bring this one up every year.
But yeah, I don't mind the fucking Haas. It looks it's a
It
Haas.
looks like a Haas.
Yeah. All I'm really interested in is
It looks fat.
whether it's going to be any quicker.
Has it got a fat Haas?
The fat Haas. Look at it. Look, it is honestly right. Pull up a picture of the Haas and check out its fat side pods. They go on forever.
Does this mean you want to ask Schumacher what he's going to do with all that Haas?
You're gonna do with all that Haas inside that garage.
I mean, do you like big pods and cannot lie?
Gunter Steiner apparently does.
I don't think he calls them pods.
No. Fock pods, maybe.
Oh, right, that is it from now on. What is on where the radiators live, on the side of the Haas or the Fock pods?
2016, Red Bull went to a matte livery.
Okay, it was 6 years ago. You see?
It was.
Yeah. Time flies when you look identical year on year. Says the person who's not had a haircut for 2.5 years.
Yeah, there is that.
I mean, according to Steiner, what we saw in that render was an early mock-up of what they thought the shape of the car was going to end up as, and there's going to be a lot of changes, certainly in the lines.
They just wanted to be first, didn't they?
Yes.
Yes.
For once.
Gary Anderson was talking about it, and
And you fell asleep.
Yeah, I fell asleep. No, I mean, he was complimentary about it because it wasn't a McLaren. But he seemed to think that looking at the design of it, it was more than just a render, and that was a render of the actual car at an early point in its development. He said there's too many tweaks and things. He said there's too many little details that are there that you would just make, like a random mock-up of a car off. He said that's been the Haas at some point in development.
Well, it did look different to the I don't know what we're F1 calling it, the show car that turned up.
It looks sleeker.
Yeah, it's got a very different nose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the front wing was a different shape as well. The raised inner bits were a lot more pronounced.
Yeah,
which is
much like Alfa Romeo did, didn't they, when they first turned up on the scene? Was that in 2017 rules when Ferrari and Alfa did that weird inboard outboard wash thing that everybody thought, oh, is this the way to go with aero? And it turned out it just wasn't.
Yes.
At all the way to go.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember Scarbs telling us about that and how much of a sort of letdown it was.
Because if it had worked, it would have been brilliant, but it didn't. So therefore, it was shite.
So yeah, we yet to see an actual physical car in the flesh, and of course we're not going to get to see too much of them during the shakedown later on this month. Because
no one's allowed to see the shakedown.
Apparently there will be photographers there.
A few carefully selected ones.
Yeah.
It's not going to be timed either, is it?
Yeah, it is, but we won't know what the times are. The times are not to be made public, apparently.
Right. Okay. I don't. There's been. I was pretty let down by Formula One fans again in comment sections because the noise that was being made around not seeing a test. Considering we never used to get tests, it's quite a recent thing. We've had live televised tests. It seems to me perfectly reasonable that with the new cars that have been made, we won't be. They just want to keep them out of sight for a bit. Like I think it was Flood. You said when we were doing probably the last podcast now. The last thing Formula One needs is to send 22 Honda McLarens out or 20 Honda
Yeah.
McLarens out for
Yep.
these new rules just to break down in front of the world.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, if you're going to break down at the first test, plus is it Bahrain has paid for that first test, so so yeah, that's money talks. That's the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to see the whole thing at Bahrain, and of course that's when all the official physical launches are going to be taking place this year, which is getting closer to the idea of the opening ceremony.
It seems like a no-brainer, because what I thought with with seeing the Haas when that came out first was, I don't want the first car of a new generation of cars to be that car I see. It should be. It's not good for Formula One that the worst car brings the first car out. It should be contractually obligated to be the fucking world champions. They're essentially launching the season.
But we know the world champion. The car carrying the number one, or that's eligible to carry the number one, will look livery-wise identical to the previous years.
Yeah, no, but I mean for an advertisement thing, it's it's cooler if we see a Red Bull first than it is if we see a Haas.
Yeah, but at the same time, if you were to do like an opening ceremony thing, you'd have to do it in reverse order. Otherwise, everyone would switch off halfway through.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be like going to see a band that's only got one hit and they play it third.
Yeah, but I mean, even that does feel different. At least you'd be building up to something, wouldn't you? Whereas a Haas just flops its way out into the world.
Yeah, when the Haas is the headline event, then it's not as exciting as if you start with the Haas and then you finish with Red Bull and Mercedes.
Yeah.
Maybe launch the Red Bull and Mercedes at the same time, one on top of the... Oh, no, they tried that.
Yes.
Are we allowed to talk about last season without being flamed to death on the internet?
Probably not, but we'll do it anyway, won't we?
Some people still think it's 2021, and they can go to hell.
I've seen a recent conspiracy theory online about Formula One.
You see conspiracy theories online every 5 seconds.
No, it's called news now. The thing with this one was, though, it was still talking about the Formula One championship being rigged, but also it was trying to involve Hamilton in the rigging, that he was essentially a paid actor to Max Verstappen's world championship. That's where we are now. Right.
So is that why he's had a break? He's been getting himself ready for the Oscars?
Possibly, yeah. He's just been spending all that sweet money he earned from allowing Max Verstappen to win his first world championship.
Fantastic.
Oh my god.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's fucking great.
This is why I don't do social media anywhere near as much as I used to.
This is why I just want the season to start.
It's quite entertaining from a sort of spectator point of view, though, isn't it? Just to sort of watch people try to sort of rationalise something like that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's fandom's strange, isn't it?
It is very much so.
Yeah, and but it always seems to be the people that know the least about the sport that have the fucking wildest ideas. And not only the wildest ideas that they're quite happy to promote with all the vitriol of someone that's just discovered a new religion that spoke to them. I don't get it.
You actually managed to get through the whole of that rant without mentioning any other podcasts that you hate. I heard the underlying
No,
meaning.
because in fairness, other podcasters are actual fans, whereas you have someone like Nick Knowles, randomly, who seems to have just come out of nowhere and is offering any F1 fan he can come across outside for no good reason.
Flood, this is your next mission. You've already wound up Tiffany Dell.
No, do you know what? Tiffany Dell is a perfectly reasonable motoring journalist, and he has opinions on sport that differ from mine. He just doesn't like it when I say he's wrong.
Do you know what? That's such a backhanded compliment. Is he a journalist? He's a reasonable journalist.
He's a reasonably good motoring journalist. He can drive. There's no doubt about that. The man can drive.
He was a reasonable driver.
Yeah. Not bad for being in his 70s. So what's my next mission? Nick Knowles?
Nick Knowles. Yes. Nick Knowles, you need to start a Twitter fight with Nick Knowles about F1.
Hang on a second, let's find him.
Sup, fucko.
Nick Knowles.
So we've got Dan the Secret Agent and Chris the very public one.
If you could do it in one tweet, it's a Knowles in one.
Oh, Nick Knowles is not Nick Knowles. Wait a second.
He's Mr. Nick Knowles.
Mr. Nick Knowles. I'll find him. I'll keep talking about something else because nobody wants to hear me typing away on Twitter. I'll let you know when I've got something to say.
We doxing someone. Is that what this is called?
Yes. 18 minutes ago. Is Massey staying then? Okay, here we go. I'm on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the opening round of the latest live Twitter fight.
Yeah, just say something dead reasonable, like, well, there's no one really better to fill his boots, so, you know.
Maybe Nick Knowles could fill his boots.
Well, I was about to suggest perhaps he should take. What's that renovation program he used to do?
DIY SOS.
Yeah, he should take the camera crew off of DIY SOS to go and rebuild the FIA.
Just tell me if he thinks he can do a better job. Do it yourself.
That's a good one. I like that.
He appears to be comparing race control to refereeing a World Cup final.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
Right, leave me to this. I'll wind Nick Knowles up because it's worth doing. But
I'm going to befriend him.
He has replied to someone today to say that he's blocked them for being abusive, which isn't very helpful. If you've blocked them, they're not going to see that. I don't block people for different opinions, so there's a challenge.
Right, so your challenge is to not get blocked by him. I mean, admittedly, you're winning that at the moment.
Yeah, don't take part. Game over.
And for anyone listening, you've all just lost the game.
Do you know what? I'm just gonna tweet really random pictures to all of his tweets and just see what comes up. So I'll wait till everybody else has. I've just replied to his Massey staying then.
Let's have a look. What have you done?
And I'll just see what you can find on that.
So you too can follow along with this live on Twitter just by setting your timeline back to 8:30 UK Monday night.
No. It's there now. I'll just leave it.
Okay, yep, that is random.
I think Paul might appreciate it more than anyone.
So I'm looking at it from the other side of the room. Is that Ronnie Dio? Oh,
it's National Geographic, isn't it? Confuse, divide, and conquer. There we go.
So I was just about to say we've got some other launches this week.
Yeah, so first of all, we've launched the Nick Knowles campaign.
Yes. For anyone outside the UK that doesn't know who he is, he's a TV presenter that used to specialise in DIY programmes, and now I think he's just famous for being a celebrity.
Was he Mr. Susie Perry at one point?
I don't know. He was a cameraman for local news when I lived on the other island, and he saved someone's life. And that's how he became in front of the camera, because he interviewed so well when he was talking about saving someone's life after a car accident, that he then became more famous and then got a chance to present. He literally moved the other side of the camera.
And he was married to Susie Perry from Off of the Bikes for a bit.
There we go.
Oh, okay. So he was Mr. Susie Perry.
Yes. Yeah, can't see any other sporting or F1 connection with him. Oh, you said, yep, he is famous for being famous. He was on I'm a Celebrity.
Did you win?
No.
Is he actually a celebrity then?
He was the 6th most celebrated celebrity that year.
Oh dear. Anyway, Formula One is something that we should be talking about. Probably.
Yeah, probably that rather that than personal vendettas, or potential personal vendettas. Yes, we have other launches coming up this week. In the next few days, it would appear that we've got Red Bull going on Wednesday. Aston Martin with their new name,
which it's not new, it's just more.
It's just longer because they are
What's their new name?
Aramco Cognizant Aston Martin Formula One racing team.
Well, that car should be green and blue then, like the 91 Jordan.
We can but hope. And we've got McLaren on Thursday.
Is it Thursday? Is it McLaren?
Yes. Followed next week by AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and Mercedes, with Alpine and Alfa Romeo coming in a couple of weeks' time.
Alfa Romeo, they're launching after the first test, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going on the 27th. Still no date for Williams yet.
Is that? See, I don't think that's good news. Is launching after the first test meaning that you're struggling with developing and maybe you've hit some hiccups that you're hoping you can fix in time for the first televised test?
I mean, don't forget, it's not a test as such. It's a shakedown. So I don't think. I think the photo.
It's a test, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
I feel like if you're Haas and Williams, it's better at this point to leave your test, your unveiling late, and actually be working on the car than to unveil a Haas that everyone seems to think is nowhere close to what the Haas is actually going to be looking like, and putting your resources into that. So
Yeah.
I think it's probably... I would not be panicking if I was Williams at this stage.
Let's be honest here. Both, I mean, Williams obviously had a car for last year, whereas Haas used their old car. But both of those teams although they have less resources, switch their attention to this year earlier than other teams. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that they are hoping at least that there's going to be, even if it's not like a Brawn double diffuser moment, I'm sure they're going to be hoping that because of their focus switch, there's going to be some things on that car that the other teams want to steal as soon as they see them. You know, if you're working on things longer than the other teams, if they're not coming up with anything that's good, then there's a real problem. But the Haas's, this car's been 2 years in development, hasn't it now?
That's a good point. Actually, it has been. It has.
Has.
Oh, fucking hell.
You'd think we'd have got over that, wouldn't you?
No, not usually.
True, yeah, that's fair.
And of course, Alfa Romeo's launch is a little bit of a weird one because it's the designation number for it is going to be one lower than last year's.
Also, Ferrari with their model number, but we're not surprised by that.
Ferrari tend to do things their own way anyway.
What was last year's? Last year's was what, the SF21?
Could
Something
well
like
be.
Enjoy, car number fans.
Ferrari don't follow anything, do they? We know that the Mercedes this year is going to be the W13, and next year is probably going to be the W14, and then the following year after that is probably going to be the W15. But no, Ferrari have gone SF21 to F175. Bearing in mind F1's only just turned 70, so that's impressive.
and of course, Alfa Romeo going from the C41 to the C40.
Of course.
Wasn't there something about they...
lost count?
No, that they had more or less decided what the new regulations car was going to be and then had to cobble something together very quickly.
Possibly.
Sure.
And there's another good reason from launching it in Bahrain rather than Barcelona, because there's a chance of rain in Barcelona. Given Alfa Romeo's history,
snow.
Yeah, given Alfa Romeo's history where it rains. I'm talking about the cars in general.
Yeah.
You know, this could be the first F1 car to rust in many years.
Unlikely.
Yeah, I'm just looking the. Oh no, apparently they've renamed it the C42 now. But yeah, I think there was something about that kind of got ahead on where they thought the regulations were going to be, and they had to bin everything and or shelve it for a year when the new regs got delayed. I'm sure
It vaguely rings a bell.
makes sense, I
It
suppose.
vaguely rings a bell.
I'm sure I read this somewhere. We will get Scarbs on before the season, and
It makes sense, I suppose, because everybody will have had stuff almost ready, and then, oh, we're moving it on a year. Like, oh, okay, fine. So just put that in the shed.
I wonder if you've done it, if they've done it like you would do with a video game, whereas when they're being delayed, they've just decided to stick like a small team, continuing to churn on with those with the new rules, and essentially the bigger the team, like obviously Mercedes would have more people to leave chugging along on the new rules than say Williams would do, but I'm sure that all the teams have had some people focused on this year, like since it was announced before it was put back.
well, I think Haas have had all the team on it, haven't they?
Fuck, who knows what Haas are going to do? Do you know if they're last, if they're still last? I mean, that has to be Haas's last year in Formula One, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, because it'll be Mazepin racing after that.
Do you think that'll happen?
Yeah, I think he's waiting for Gene Haas to become so sick of being, the whipping boys in Formula One, because he's not used to it in US sports, is he?
No.
So I think he's going to be so sick of not getting anything out of Formula One and throwing money at it. He'll take anything for it, and he'll get himself a cheap Formula One team that he could then throw billions at.
I think we need to watch this, don't we? Because as you've got these people that have amassed sort of massive sums of wealth, and there's always been wealthy people, but it seems to be now more than ever there's certain people around which just have ungodly sums of money, and it only takes another 2 Strolls or another 2 Mazepins and their fathers come in buying teams up for their sons to race to just make a complete mockery out of the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I mean, all right. Stroll now seems to have proved himself, and he's a capable F1 driver.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be an F1 driver. I think that's the thing. He is. Don't get me wrong. He's there, and he's not crashing into things. And on his day, he's reasonably quick. Was put away reasonably handily by Sebastian Vettel last year, though. But should he have ever still been in Formula One to get to the point of being an okay Formula One driver?
Well, we've been through this before, haven't we? But
Yeah.
just very quickly, we don't know what he was like at Williams because nobody knows what that car was like with all its aerodynamic stalling.
Fair. It's fair.
And then when he moved to Racing Point, he was probably closer to Perez than we thought he was going to be. So that was a bit of a step up for him. But and don't forget, he did get pole at that pretty difficult Turkish Grand Prix in COVID times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It could have been anybody. I heard those thoughts in those people's heads when they thought that out loud, or possibly not. But it could have been anybody.
Maldonado won a race.
Yeah, absolutely. In the dry in Spain, in front of Fernando Alonso's crowd.
In front of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, literally in front of Fernando. Yeah. So yeah, these things happen. You've got to be able to perform when these opportunities present themselves to you, and when it's a bit damp, And when there are lots of times you can put your foot to the floor and then brake really heavily, Lance Stroll appears to do all right.
Yeah.
All we need now is a wet Baku.
Ooh, wet Baku. That'd be lively.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, that one does not bear thinking about. I'm sure we've said that before, and I'm sure we've all had the same reaction to that before. I mean, there's always been pay drivers. It's just never been the case of there's always been pay drivers that have got enough backing behind them to effectively bankroll an entire team to their demands. The Pedro Diniz money was that he paid at Arrows was effectively paying Damon Hill's salary.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bankrolling the entire team. The team could still have afforded to have any other driver in that car. Damon Hill, I mean, not Pedro Diniz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it'd have still been as terrible, and in fact they'd have had a worse season because Hungary wouldn't have happened.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we've never had the situation before where a pay driver comes in with the backing to more or less fund every aspect of the team, which Stroll certainly, pre-Racing Point, Stroll was effectively bankrolling the whole of Williams.
Yeah, well, let's call a spade a small shovel here. These people come in and they've got the money of a small country. It might as well, when you've got someone with that amount of money, it might as well be a nation back in the team.
Didn't seem to work for K-Mag.
No, it didn't. No. Well, that's good. That's because he lost out on the Lego sponsorship, wasn't it? That's all they needed was that sweet, sweet Lego money.
Yeah, I think Ron Dennis was trying to push Lego and fish.
What a combo!
I mean, Lego probably make some form of fish-shaped.
Odd one, which caught me off guard. Morris Hamilton, who's like a pretty good guy when it comes to listening to about like the driver side of things, reckoned he thought if Lewis would retire, that Kevin Magnussen should be in the conversation to replace him.
Ooh.
I think it really, really caught me off guard.
Wow. I mean, I thought Hulk would have been the favourite.
Well, the hot rumor on Twitter at the time was that Vettel had a seat fitting, just in case.
I mean, it's never been a secret that Vettel wants to drive for Mercedes, and it's never been a secret that Mercedes would like Vettel in the car.
Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, for Mercedes like Vettel in the car, I think if Mercedes might like the idea of Vettel in the car. If Mercedes wanted him in the car, he would absolutely have been in the car by now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was it. I think it was only ever as a sort of backup plan. I don't think it was ever a serious, here's a contract, Sebastian, have a look at that.
I think there's only two, isn't there, really? If you lose Lewis Hamilton and you can't get Max Verstappen, or, I mean, realistically, just Max Verstappen, because anyone else is a bit unproven if you're replacing your guy. The only two realistic options would be Sebastian Vettel or Fernando Alonso. I think they're the only two people that you could just plug in as we expect you to fight for a world championship immediately.
I'd like to have seen him bring Kimi back. Talking of which, apparently he's about to sign up to be Lando's mentor.
Oh. He's doing something in motorbikes. He's turned up as a team principal in like motocross world championship or something.
Kawasaki team principal.
Yeah, like a proper team.
I'll tell you what, those pre-race briefings are going to be a thrill a minute, aren't they?
And then everyone gets ice cream afterwards.
Go out there and win. That's it.
I mean, it's all you need to do.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem.
No, it just seems a bit of a departure for him. He's not team principal material, or what you'd think. But then again, who knows what Kimi's like
He's
from media
had
Kimi?
Double R racing before, hasn't he? He's been involved in a sort of team management bit.
We've seen what Kimi's like a little bit when he thinks either the cameras aren't rolling or he's not aware of them. Yep. When they said goodbye to Antonio Giovinazzi, which F1 handily retweeted this last week, and him and his kid saying goodbye to Antonio, and kid starts getting upset. He's just like, "Oh no, it's all right. We'll go to Antonio's house at some point. We'll have lots of pizza." Like, when there are no cameras around, or when he thinks there are no cameras around, or he hasn't fucking noticed them, Kimmy is quite talkative and a really nice guy. And there have been a few people who said, I think Sean's actually said it on this podcast, that away from the cameras, Kimmy is a totally different person.
Mm-hmm. I think David Coulthard said that as well when they were teammates, that he would just sort of come up to people and just like put Coulthard in a headlock when he was drunk and just start talking at him rather than to him.
That does sound like drunk Kimmy. That does sound like I could see that.
My favourite drunk Kimmy moment is when George Russell managed to get a selfie with him at the award, Autosport Awards, was it?
Was that when he staggered up on stage?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Oh, of course, we've got the other bit of news, Honda and Red Bull.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, the big reason for the engine freeze now not needing to be a thing.
Yeah, which to me means that Honda, they're either gone, "Oh, we're winning, okay, we'll stay," or they've gone, "We think we've come up with something that might help you win for the next 5 years, so the engines are going to be frozen, and we're just going to keep our name on the engines as well."
Well, apparently it's going to be the Red Bull tag again.
Fucking hell.
Tag? I thought the Honda name was staying.
Yeah, apparently Honda are going to stay. From what I've seen, the engines are going to be badged as Tag Heuer, and Honda are going to be a sponsor.
Right, but it's going to be a Honda engine.
Yes.
Well, this makes a lot of sense.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does not at all. I'm joking.
Unless you say this is the exact reason that they went for the engine freeze, was so that the, Red Bull powertrains could, essentially be in the same position for the next couple of years whilst they get used to how things work. And that if any new manufacturers wanted to join in 2026, which is the next open open door for new manufacturers to join, then the technology wouldn't be so far advanced that they wouldn't look at it and go, "Well, we don't know how the fuck that works," and abandon ship before they've even started. Because there is rumours, isn't there, as well, that Audi and McLaren are either going into partnership or Audi are going to take over McLaren entirely.
Which did get officially denied during December, so make of that what you will.
A lot of different brands in the Audi group, though, isn't there? The Audi family.
Well, it's the Volkswagen group. Mm-hmm. It's Audi and Porsche, isn't it? That are the two that are touted as being taken over. But apparently the Bahraini royal family are... Is it Bahraini? Qatari royal family?
No, it is Bahrain.
Bahraini for McLaren.
It is Bahrain, yeah. Bahraini royal family are quite keen on, selling McLaren if they can make a profit.
Which now they don't suck as much as they used to. There's a chance.
Yeah, but it's not just for the Formula One team. Apparently, it's for the entire McLaren group.
Wow.
So McLaren will become a division of Volkswagen Group as another supercar, along with Porsche and I don't know all the others that they've got.
Can you call Porsche supercar? They only make one car.
Who, McLaren?
Yeah, no, Porsche.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, they do make a really nasty-looking people carrier now as well.
Exactly. When Porsche try and make something that doesn't look like a Porsche, it's crap.
Yeah,
I quite like the Taycan, the big long electric car. I think that's cool as hell.
Are you taken with it?
Yeah, I am.
Careful. Careful. He's got special skills.
I'm so sorry.
This is not Liam Lawson we're talking about here.
I'm genuinely sorry, not only for my joke, but that it gave the opportunity for Paul to make that other joke.
Hey, look, we've been away a couple of months. I'm seriously out of practice.
Not
that I was any good when I was match fit.
Look, I appreciate our audience, and I just want to apologise. That's all.
It's all right. We spend half the week apologising for you anyway.
Should do. Everybody should do.
So yeah, Honda are going to carry on making the engines and doing any allowable upgrades. I'm not entirely sure what upgrades are allowed over the next 3-4 years, but I think there's going to be something.
There's a percentage. We're going to have to get Scarbs on to talk about this, but it's to do with percentages of parts which are more likely to fail. You're allowed to reinforce them. It can't be purely for performance, but if you gain some performance by making your more failable parts more reliable, then that's just how it works.
So, say a team gets serious MG UK problems, which has happened quite a lot, and all of a sudden, oh look, this is less likely to fail. Oh, and it's 30% more efficient.
Yeah. I mean, I said, didn't I, in a chat at some point over the winter, I wouldn't be surprised if a engine manufacturer utilizes some sort of fully electric operation, just at slow speeds, for pit stops and maybe behind safety cars or something like that, just to. I wouldn't be surprised if they haven't at least looked at it.
Well,
using the hybrid system, using electric power.
It's
already power to start the cars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's already a thing with the LMDHs, or the hybrid ones, not the what's your man's team called?
They're only allowed to. They're only allowed to move off from their pit stop using hybrid power.
Yeah, and in the pit lane as well. They can only engage full ICE power once they've passed the pit lane limited.
And line. Which Formula One teams have engine manufacturers that also take part in that series?
None, because Toyota have left Formula One a long time ago.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
But where was I going with this thought? Don't know. Nope, lost it.
Which Honda and Toyota have been having an arms race in development terms for every aspect of road cars for many, many, many years.
Very true.
So if Toyota can do it, why can't Honda?
Yeah, I mean, there's a possibility. I think I said in the winter thing, I think Ferrari are probably going to have made the biggest gains over the winter. I've got that feeling. Ferrari are being very quiet, and when Ferrari are quiet, usually means they're pretty quick.
They're either quick or it's one extreme or the other.
I think it will be one of the extreme or the other.
They're slow.
That was a good catch as well. There was something I watched the other day, and I've completely fucking forgot what it was. But somebody clocked that the suspension on the Haas was a push rod.
It's Scarbs.
That was Scarbs. Scarbs did he did a thread on what he could tell from the render.
Yeah, but did he pick up on the bad Photoshop job on it?
Yeah, it could be adapted to be pull rod quite quickly.
It looks like that whole thing has just been stuck into the photograph afterwards to hide something. Like if you look at the other parts of the suspension, they all neatly go into a nice rendered hole that's supposed to be there, and it's just like a really awkward cut off on the push rod part of it. I think it was a race one that I was watching, and they've sort of pointed out the fact that, like, look, this doesn't. Everything else on the render looks really good, and this has been a last-minute addition to this before it's being put out. So it suggests to me and them that the Ferrari are going to change their suspension like we all think they did, and that Haas have been told to do this to hide something that's going to be on the Ferrari and probably on the Haas.
Yeah, that's quite likely.
If you pull up the picture now, like that picture of that Haas, just look at where that rod goes into the monocoque. It's not right. It's a really bad Photoshop job. Like anybody with that. That's why it wasn't the race that thought it had been done at last minute. It's me looking at it that thought it had been done at last minute, because anybody with even like a basic understanding of how Photoshop works could have done a better job than that where the suspension goes into the car. It just cuts off. It's really weird.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I know.
Yeah, there's also rumours, isn't there, that McLaren are using pull rod suspension.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know where these rumours come from, to be perfectly honest. But we'll see this week, I guess. By the end of next week, most of the cars will have been revealed, apart from those last two.
Do you think there's a chance that Ferrari have looked at Red Bull and what they did last year? Because, I mean, Red Bull threw everything at that car. And it could have been a disaster what they did. No, they had an engine thrown in the car that was that was a year ahead of schedule. They threw everything at the design of the car. They kept developing through the season, so we'll have to see where they end up this year. But do you think Ferrari have seen that and thought, do you know what? We should be fucking braver.
Well, they did. They were, weren't they? They were braver, and then they were accused of cheating that year. They were really brave.
There's a difference between brave and cheating, I suppose. But yeah.
So Ferrari were really, really brave in 2019. Sometimes, then.
Yeah, maybe. I overly brave, you could say. They were over brave.
Misplaced. Lee, have you got the first shunt of the new year?
Absolutely not.
Oh, it's like that, is it? Do I have to delve into the reserve pile?
I don't know. You can if you want, or we can leave it till next week and get it sorted out.
Oh, no.
I've had
no, come on.
So many messages over the fucking winter thing on social media platforms that if anyone wants total shunts in, give your total shunt. I'll ping up the list. I'll probably use it next week.
I'm just looking to see. Do you know what? I don't actually think I've got any spare.
Fucking hell. You've got the people's hopes up for no reason here.
It's okay. It's first day back at school, isn't it? If we leave them wanting one, it means they'll have to really put their ass into gear and get them to me.
And if they don't want it, hashtag no shunt.
Yeah, if they don't want it, the market's spoken.
Oh no, I have found one.
Oh,
I have found one. It's been sat in my inbox since October 2020.
Well, that's the sign of a ringing endorsement, isn't it?
But thanks to Baz Verbeek.
Oh, I remember hearing this name before. I believe Baz has been a listener for a long time. Or probably was.
He might still be, and he might be again. Because I'll tweet him after this and say we've done your shunt.
Finally,
yeah, we've done your shunt from a year and a quarter ago. Yeah, right.
It's been 83 years.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I was born.
Yay.
Okay.
In 1980.
Okay.
In 1997, I competed in the Formula Vauxhall Junior, taking second.
Okay.
97?
97.
At the age of 17.
And third clue, I won the Formula Renault 2.0 UK Series in 1999. And can I just point out, for anyone on iRacing, Formula Renault 2.0s are so much fun to drive. And for the benefit of
Jason Coffin.
For the benefit of Jeff Sharp, they've got 7 gears. That's why you kept topping out in 6th.
Yeah, I'm going to say Jason Coffin, who was a popular British racing driver at the time, who never progressed further than... Well, I don't know where he got up to, but he didn't get anywhere near Formula One, I don't think.
I'm not familiar with Mr. Coffin, but he sounds like a reasonable
I think his name
guess.
was Jason Coffin. I remember thinking that it was a really weird name for a Formula One driver, obviously.
He might still be in the McLaren Junior driver Shark Tank with all the other pensioners. Is that your first guess?
I have
think
nothing
so.
better
I
at this.
can't think of another British driver who was... Well, there's probably loads, but I'll go with that one to start with.
Right, okay. Clue number 4. With 5 wins, I won the British F3 Championship. Well, it doesn't say what year. But I'm assuming it's after 2000. In 2002, I drove an F1 car for the first time. And I drove for 2 different teams in my F1 career.
So this person made it to Formula One.
Timo Glock.
Anthony Davidson?
Yeah, that's a good shout.
That's
yeah.
not bad.
Did he drive for? Or was he just Super Aguri, or did it switch
Toyota
to
wasn't it as well?
Toyota and Super Aguri, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glock would have been my guess here.
To Emo Glock.
To Emo.
So for your second guess, is that Glock?
No, I think Anthony Davison is a good shout as well.
Well, Timo Glock did come through British racing, didn't he? Because there was that joke that I said then he was essentially a Yorkshireman because he raced for Manor Racing, I think, like all the way up through junior Formula until he got to Formula One.
Yeah.
Stick with Ant for now, and we can always circle back to is that Glock.
Yeah.
Okay, clue 7. I had more retirements than finishes in my F1 career.
Could still be either.
I don't think Anthony Davidson had that many retirements.
I think he did because his car was terrible.
The Super Aguri era, Anthony Davison definitely had retirements.
Or did he? See, I remember it start because that car started quite well.
Yes, that was the issue, though. It started.
Yeah, but they didn't have any upgrades, so I can't remember whether it was did he have a lot of failures or was it just slow?
No, I think it was just shit.
It was a 3-year-old Arrows.
Yeah, I think that was what paid to his Formula One career, wasn't it? Was the car never let him show his talent.
Mm-hmm.
I took part in a total of 20 races, scoring 8 points.
Ooh.
It is feeling like Anthony Davidson, isn't it?
It is now.
It's not Glock. Glock's got more than 8
Yeah,
points.
Glock's definitely got more.
And also more than 20 races.
Yes.
After F1, I bounced around a lot of open-wheel racing series, but never found any success.
Oh, right. It's not Anthony Davidson
No.
then, is it?
Technically, WEC is technically not open wheel.
Well, yeah, I suppose no. Yeah, but I don't know how many. How many open wheel things did Anthony Davidson do after Formula One?
I don't know, to be fair.
He went straight into sports cars, didn't he? And the
I thought so.
I would have
yeah.
thought.
Endurance racing and stuff like that.
Ex-Formula One drivers that were shit at Formula E.
Well, Formula E.
Nick Heidfeld, no, he'd have done more than 20 races.
And scored more than 8 points.
Bizarrely, yes.
Not that much of a world of disappointment in that
Jerome
respect.
D'Ambrosio.
Ooh.
Actually, I don't think he scored 8 points in
No.
Formula One, to be perfectly honest.
There is a clue 10 and a spaffer.
Will Stevens, one team.
Again, don't
just
think he
Mauricio
scored.
on it.
No, he did Caterham as well.
Karun
stood
Chandok.
Possibly.
What other team did he drive for?
I don't know. I'm just throwing names
HRT
in there
and
now.
Caterham.
Don't know if he'd have got 8 points, to be fair, but he'd definitely
No, I
had
don't
more
think he got 8
retirements
points.
than anything else.
I don't think he got a point.
Possibly not.
What is the point?
Clue number 10.
Yes.
Yeah, my final years in racing I spent in Brazilian stock cars.
So
This guy had like a
thinking of a
reverse
random
career.
Brazilian then. He had a reverse career.
Is it Benjamin Button?
Talking of Brazilian stock cars, there's an endurance race coming up in the Brazilian stock car series very soon. And Felipe Massa has picked Timo Glock to be his teammate.
Oh, yeah, they're friends again now, aren't they? They had some kind of moment on the F1 last year.
Would you like the spaffer, by the way?
I
Yeah,
mean,
go on.
I think we're going to need it.
Okay. My two F1 teams were Jaguar and Williams.
Christian Clean.
He drove for Jaguar whilst it was still called Red Bull.
Yes.
Oh, we got Giant Flood again.
Oh no!
Christian Clean was in a Jag.
Yes, he was in a Jag.
Am I back to normal yet?
No, you're
no.
still giant. Use your giant brain to find the answer.
I need to use my big head.
Edward Irvine wasn't.
Edward.
Yeah, he didn't do. Yeah, he was Ferrari. So but
I'll be back.
and he scored more than 8 points. Championship though. How odd.
He was nearly a world champion.
Yeah.
I mean, I know points used to be a lot smaller back in those days, but you couldn't win it with 9.
If I'm perfectly honest, yeah. if I'm perfectly honest, I didn't ever actually think it was him. I just wanted to call him Edward Irvine.
Was he Edward or Edmund?
Oh,
I'm going to say Edward because that's what I said.
controversial.
I think he's. I've got it in my head. He's an Edmund.
I'm not going to Google because obviously that's cheating. I was just about to, and then I thought, oh no, wait, we're still.
It's only cheating if you actually think he's the right answer.
He is an Edmund.
No.
He's an
I don't.
Edmund.
He's an Edmund Irvine.
He is
I
Edmund.
thought he might be.
Edmund Irvine Jr.
Wow.
Feel I didn't really need to be fact checked there. We could have just let that one go. Nobody would have been hurt. Nobody would have called misinformation on that one.
I think.
Just let
Are
it go.
we thinking maybe somebody who like Jaguar drivers? There can't have been that many. Jaguar weren't a team for that long.
Well,
Mark
that's
Webber, Eddie
that's-
Irvine.
Christian Clean.
I'm sure Christian Clean was still driving when they became Red Bull.
I feel like he drove for Red Bull.
I'm pretty sure when it became Red Bull, it was Coulthard and Clean as the first Red Bull lineup.
Wasn't it Coulthard and Valentino Liuzzi?
Maybe they seat shared. I'm not sure.
I think if I don't know, but of all the names we've mentioned so far, Christian Clean is the one I feel has the talent to have scored less than 10 points in his career.
Yeah,
I don't have
think I've got
anything better to offer.
better option than that.
Yeah.
So your
I think his Formula One career ended with Michael Schumacher on his head. If I remember correctly.
So your final guess?
I'll let Lee say it.
I think so. Yeah, go Christian Clean.
I am Antonio Pizzonia.
Who though?
Literally never
Antonio
entered the
Pizzonia.
conversation.
Yeah.
He was the Brazilian driver who's had an Italian name, and as you say, drove for Williams. I do not remember him at Jaguar. I do remember him driving for Williams.
He did the first 11 races of the season in 2003 for Jaguar, retiring in 5. Then got binned. Then turned up at Williams in 2004 at the German Grand Prix. Did 4 races for Williams, got 4 7th places in a retirement. And then got binned. And then Williams again in 2005 from the Italian Grand Prix. He actually did a full F1 season, just split over 3 years.
Wow.
And he managed 4 7th places in his career.
Oh, in 2003, he was classified ahead of Jos Verstappen.
Even with 0 points.
Yes.
So, yes, it was that well-known F1 trier.
Antonio Pizzonia. Yeah, good one. Yeah, very good one. I was trying to think of Brazilian drivers who sort of didn't do anything in the mid-2000s. That's exactly him.
And he was one of the rare breed of drivers that got to drive in Super League Formula.
Ooh.
Where all the
What the
teams
hell was that?
all the teams were named after and sponsored by football teams. I think there was a Leeds United
grim.
one at one point.
Yeah. Like it made it made Formula A look like the past, present, and future of motorsport.
Antonio Pizzonia had a very sad 21st birthday.
Did he?
Why?
He was born on September 11th, 1980.
Ah.
That would have been a sad one.
But
least
my
no one's
brother's
gonna
also
forget.
born on September 11th. It was his 7th birthday that particular day.
Crazy.
Ah. According to his Instagram, Mr. Pizzonia is now an Iron Man competitor.
Should have saved that.
Iron Man.
Yes,
Should have saved this for when Sean's on.
yes. Apparently he's done 8 of them.
Especially after the Big Tex incident. If anybody remembers that.
Nope.
When we did the, what was it, Bruno Teixeira shunt. And,
Oh, yes.
oh, you've gone giant again.
Hello.
We've been doing this an hour. We managed to stretch it out with bugger all to talk about. Should we call it a night?
Absolutely.
Or call it a day? Depends on when you're listening to
One
this.
day ago, Antonio Pizzonia was in the qualifying for the world champion of some kind of karting master event.
Pensioner cards.
Yes.
Right. How do you...
This sounds like a falsehood. Why is Antonio Pizzonia in any form of master event?
This is on his blue tick Instagram account.
This again seems like a falsehood. How has he got a blue tick Instagram account?
I don't know.
Why was Bottas in the race of champions up until 2 days before it actually happened?
Because Mika Hakkinen was there.
Yeah, true. How do you send in a total shunt?
You can send me a DM on Twitter or Instagram at a total shunt.
And to get on the reserve list, which I have noticed I've just used the last one of, drop us an email, 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, and you can use that email address to get in touch with the show anyway. And if you want to get us on the socials, we are at 3legs4wheels on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And individually on Twitter, we are...
At Sean Cowper.
At Mr. Nick Knowles.
And I'm at Flood21. And you can get hold of Nick Knowles at Pablo100. Why have I just said that? I
No,
really
this is a
let
mistake.
myself in for
This
it
is
now.
a mistake.
Thank you for covering that, Jack. If you want to help us out as well, you can go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels and you can sign up there. You'll get the show a little bit early. We'll do the Patreon specials again this year when we're not all completely knackered. Possibly when the nights start getting a bit brighter. We're not all as sleepy when we get home from work. Don't know anything from there. From £1, $1, €1 a month upwards, you'll get the show early. There'll be other bonuses that we'll come up with at some point during the year, and everything you send goes to help us out doing the show.
Listen to Nike, just do it.
We'll be back. I guess we should come back next week because we'll have some cars to talk about.
Yeah, what cars between now and then? Red Bull?
Some.
Mercedes?
No, not Mercedes. Mercedes is the 18th.
Right.
Yeah, there'll be
McLaren?
Red Bull, Aston Martin and McLaren, which are next this week's
Nice.
launches.
3 proper teams. Sorry, Haas.
One day
To be
they'll...
fair, I don't think the Haas launch is not really a launch, is it? It's a render, which is not true.
That's all they do now, though, isn't it? You know, it's the when was the last time we got like a proper car launch?
We were there at Silverstone.
That's what I mean. So is 2018 like the last year of like the proper launch? I know we've had like an issue going on.
But there weren't any in 2019.
Yeah, I
They
don't
wheeled
remember
the
it
car
being a
forward,
thing.
didn't they? When you were there, they wheeled the car forward with its cover on, or did it just come out of the darkness?
Okay, they drove down. I think
Bottas had just been doing his filming lap, so he actually drove into the hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it. Drive in.
Yeah, it was cool. That was very cool.
And then we all got to sit and watch the Ferrari launch.
Yeah, you were in the reflection, if I remember correctly, of Mercedes' tweet saying, "Don't think we've missed this, would you?"
Yeah, don't think they'd miss me. But yeah, I don't think we actually got any real launches in 2019. Everything was just done online.
Yeah, and watch that Ferrari launch. The Mercedes launch was cool. The Ferrari launch was quite cringe. Talking of cringe, has anybody seen the Ferrari startup video? Because we've seen startup videos from Mercedes in December. We saw a startup video from McLaren, which was very similar. Didn't show any of the car, obviously, just a lot of people smiling, nodding, and pointing in knowing directions. But did anyone see the Ferrari startup video?
Got to admit, I didn't.
Ooh, okay. I'll just leave everyone to go and search for that on Twitter, and Make your own minds up.
Excellent.
Ferrari are like their launches and media stuff are a little bit it's like comparing Xbox stuff with PlayStation. Like Xbox know how to launch something. PlayStation, it always feels like a business meeting. There's just something not fun about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, and given the amount of cat air in my PlayStation, the Xbox is more fun at the moment because it doesn't sound like a bloody jet taking off when I try and play something. On that note, we will go do our homework and we'll report back with our findings on the Ferrari launch and God knows what else next week. Until then, take care. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.